I thought we'd wait for the meeting. We are just saying it was his last shot, Bert. Are we doing okay? Yes, we are, no second thoughts. He chose this. The car signaled trouble, and Nathan saw it was overheating. Great. He was in a part of town you didn't stop in, not in an $80,000 car, it'd be stripped in minutes. Seeing a lit parking lot, Nathan pulled in. If he didn't stop his car, the engine would, for sure, go bust. Good thing his stolen car had insurance. Nathan found the roadside help number and called. On the other end, a nice lady said a tow truck would come in an hour. Nathan waited for 20 minutes, looking at people he didn't like walk by. Then he thought the bar across the street looked safer. His car seemed too easy to spot. Hey, friend, got a match? Nathan just shut his car door and turned. A big man was coming fast toward him. No, I don't have a damn. Nathan got cut off when the big guy's fist hit his belly. It knocked all the air out of him. He wanted to yell for help but couldn't breathe. You've been asking for this. Another hit made Nathan's side ache. His knees buckled, but he didn't fall. The man was holding him, dragging him away from the car. Why? Nathan finally got out. But asking that instead of shouting for help was dumb. He knew it when the man hit him again, making him lose all air. Nathan noticed they were in a dark alley. Oh no, was his last thought before pain hit him. A hard kick landed on him. Now he really knew what a steel-toe boot felt like. No, can't pass out yet, the man said. Nathan was trying to breathe, his insides hurt bad from the kick. He barely felt a slap on his face. Hey, you still with me? Nathan tried to yell. He really did, but pain turned his yell into just a soft noise. Fine, bad guys like you don't just get to go out cold. A punch hit Nathan's mouth, and he felt his teeth snap. He spat out blood and bits of teeth. With the next breath, Nathan felt himself slipping away and was almost glad. But before he sunk into blackness, he got a kick down low and a hit to his ear that knocked him over. Then all went dark. Beep, beep, beep. Nathan woke in a dim room, his eyes half open. He saw a beeping machine by his side. The beep felt odd, the machine was to his left. Why did it seem to come from the right? He looked right, he thought another machine must be there, beeping too, but there was nothing. Turning back left, a bandage pressed against his ear and caused sharp pain. Nathan yelled, and a nurse rushed over. She said something, added something to his 4, and Nathan drifted off once more. Nathan, a soft woman's voice reached him. Nathan didn't know her. He's waking, doctor, just a bit more time. Nathan's eyes slowly opened. The pain was less, and he felt okay, more or less. He stayed still, he didn't want that pain back. He focused on the woman, likely a nurse, and a man beside her, must be the doctor, he guessed. Nathan, I'm Dr. Wells. Can you hear me? Nathan nodded. Good. Now, follow my pen. Nathan did what he said as the doctor checked on him with different tests. Very good, Nathan. Now, we need to talk. Do you remember how you came here? Nathan shook his head. Maybe it was hard to tell if it really moved. The cops are here, they need to know what happened. Do you remember anything? Nathan tried to recall stopping his car, he knew he got out, but then what? He shook his head again. Right, your head did move a little. Okay, I'll tell them. But they might come in to talk to you soon, so we've got to chat about a few big things. First up, you were in real bad shape, like super close to dying. Not just once, but twice. When you were in surgery, you had a lot of bleeding inside, and to be honest, things were worse than we thought when you first got here. But we made it through all that cutting and fixing, and now you should start to get better. Okay, now for where things stand, you got a really bad hit on the head. We're going to keep a close eye on you, But you've got to let us know if you start feeling all mixed up or sick to your stomach, that kind of thing. The doctor stopped for a sec, cleared his throat. Also, we had to take out one of your kidneys. This isn't going to stop you from living your life. You can totally do just fine with one, but we'll give you some info to read so you can take care of the kidney you've got left. And there's no easy way to say this. You lost both your testicles, and the damage to your penis is real bad. It might mean you can't get hard anymore. That's the tough part about your penis. There's a surgery we might try to get some used back if that's something you want to know more about. I've got to get a specialist to look, but from what I see, don't expect too much. You want me to get more info? Nathan couldn't believe he lost his testicles and penis. He hadn't cried in forever. Didn't think he had a reason to. But now he felt a tear roll down his face. Yes, all right. I'll make the call, and the doc will see you in a few days. The sooner we get the surgery done, the better. Now, about your testicles, we can't make them work again, but we can put in fake ones. It might make things feel and look more normal. It's a pretty easy fix if you're interested, Nathan just nodded. Nurse, get Dr. Swanson here in 3 days. That'll give us time after the first surgery, okay? Nathan, your face is still pretty swollen, and you've got a lot of cuts that are going to scar pretty bad, Dr. Swanson said. Could you help me with that? Nathan asked softly. Sure, we might need to talk more later. For now, we'll keep an eye on you. If you hurt or need anything, press the call button, the doctor said before leaving. He paused. Do you want us to call someone for you? No, there's no one, Nathan whispered. Brad was out on his back porch. It was a super hot day. He watched Tam Thong in the small pool under the little waterfall he made. Tam Thong was facing away, enjoying the cool water, wringing her long hair. She didn't wear a top. In Thailand, that was normal by the water. Her skin was a deep, beautiful brown from the sun. Even after having 2 kids, she looked amazing. Today was the day for Brad to fix things. After thinking it over since their trip to Fiji with family, he planned a video call on his terms to keep it short. Brad looked sick, his tone icy as he began the call. I'm only doing this video call because my lawyer said it was good for me. I don't really want to talk to you, Vicky. Seeing you or hearing you makes me feel sick. I don't want to talk to you too either. Jen's face went white, and tears started falling. Mark looked very sad too. Vicky didn't show much feeling, but it looked like she was shaking. His wife and kids looked thinner than he remembered. Brad looked at their faces, then made a face himself. So Brad went on. Okay, forget it. We're talking now. This might teach you something. Do you see the 3 people with me? The lady and 2 kids? They're a family. She's in her late 20s, the boy is 12, and the girl is 10. The lady's husband died 3 years ago. He was sick and didn't have any money for help. They had a little money saved, but paying for the sickness and the funeral used it all up. The lady worked in a very small, dirty place to eat, let's call it a diner. Believe me, you wouldn't want to eat anything from there. She worked long hours washing dishes for very little money. After paying for where they lived, there wasn't much money left. Sometimes she brought home food that wasn't sold at the place. Are you listening? Vicky sighed. She didn't get why Brad was telling them this, but she didn't stop him. He was finally talking to them. Mark and Jen looked at the woman and kids as their dad told them about their hard life. She couldn't bring food home every day. Mostly she couldn't because the boss wanted her to pay for the food but not with money. Get this, the lady running that mess of a place wanted her to do bad things just to feed her kids, crumbs that rats didn't touch. And more often than not, she came back empty-handed, only got something when the boss was gone. Think about it, she needed food but wouldn't do anything bad for it, not like you, Vicky, not caring at all. She's all about respect, self-worth, and honor. She'd rather starve than let her kids think badly of her, all for some barely edible scraps. You see, the kids took matters into their own hands. They tried to get food the only way they could think of, by stealing. But let's be real, they weren't any good at it. The boy got caught, and he was facing real jail time. Not the kind for kids, because that doesn't exist here. So I bumped into them about a year and a half ago. I was there when the boy tried to take a piece of fruit. His sister wouldn't leave him, so she got caught too. A real lesson in sticking together. Just so you know, the cops were ready to take them, but I stepped in. I paid the shop owner 3 times the value of the fruit and gave the cops 20 times that to forget the whole thing. All up, it cost me $18.13 US to clear it up. Then I got them a real meal. Not sure if they ever had one before. You know, after they wouldn't show me where they lived, but they did something strange. They took me to a rundown church to pray. Weird, right? Brad looked at the faces of his ex-family as he told the story. I saw them curious, thinking they'd run from me, but they held my hands to the church inside. They both bent to pray. I didn't know their words then, so I couldn't tell what they prayed for, but the priest, he spoke okay English. He shared that those 2 kids, not even following his faith, came to his church daily to pray for their dad who passed. They learned from the priest about God and hope and all, thinking it might help their dad. Those kids hoped a God they didn't follow would remember their father hadn't been left behind. They hit that church every day after their mom went to work, praying for their dad's soul every single day. A 10-year-old boy and his 8-year-old sister did that on their own every day. Who does that? I'll tell you, someone who loves and honors a parent even in death. I stayed with the kids in the church until their mom came late to get them. That's where she found them each night, sitting in that church with those kids. I thought of my own dad's story. I thought I left all the hurt and anger with your lies when I left the U.S., but maybe not. That dad, the kid's father, had nothing when alive, and here were his kids a year after he died, praying for him just feet away from me. Me, I was rich many times over. I had been a loyal, loving husband and dad. I loved my family more than anything. My family never needed anything in their lives, not money, my time, my love, and devotion. Nothing was ever kept from you 3 if I could help it. Yet I have nothing to show for all I gave for 20 years of my life. I got a wife who only cares for herself and 2 kids who'd ignore me unless they really had to bother. So here's the deal, I took the mom from a bad job and let them all move in with me. Not for any bad reasons, that's your style, Vicky, not mine. The lady works for me, looks after her kids in a place that's safe and full of love. I did it to give them a better life because I could. And they sure needed the help. I didn't plan to stick around at first. I was just roaming, trying to get away from the mess my life had turned into. This was just another stop, a place to find some peace or something new to make my life mean something again. Then I met those kids and found what I'd been looking for, a reason to be. I'm not sure where I messed up before, but this time I'm getting it right. I've decided to stay. Things are simpler here, less hurt. I can laugh and smile again, which means more than you can imagine after losing it because of those you trusted most. That's all I've got to say. Maybe it makes you think, maybe not. I'm betting not, but I'm happy now, and that's how it'll stay. You all wanted this call, so say what you need to, and let's end it. Jen's crying, and even Vicky's got tears. Dad, stop. Don't call me that, Mark. I'm not your father anymore because that's what you chose the moment you turned your back on me. You lost any right to me. Mark sank into his chair. Brad, out with it. Vicky, let's end this talk. Brad, hear me out, stop this. It's all my fault, all of it. I'm so sorry for hurting you and how I did it. Please, let's stop this and come back. I don't want us to split. I can't bear being apart from you any longer. Please, let's try to fix my mess. If you're mad, be mad at me, only me. I caused this, but I'm asking you, give me, us, another shot. If not for me, then for your kids, please, Brad, I'm begging. Forgive your kids and me if you can. Come back home. Brad's face showed he was mad, and it was scary. Are you still with the guy you ran off to Aruba with? He shot back. No, that was a huge mistake, Brad. I messed up so bad, Brad. I love you more than you'll ever know. I'll always love you more than words can say. Please, please forgive us. Brad stared at his wife, pure anger in his eyes, but he didn't get to say anything. The little girl left her brother and mom to run to him, hopping onto his lap. She hugged him. Quick, then saw the people on the computer screen. Her eyes got big, her smile too. Some teeth were missing, maybe because she's young. She waved at the three looking at her through the laptop and laughed. Jen also laughed, though it sounded a bit forced. She reached out, touching the screen. Mark just sat there, shocked. Vicky covered her mouth. Brad's face softened when the little girl climbed into his lap. Now he was smiling. Brad looked back at his old family. I won't say their names. You don't get to know. You just need to know they're good folks, that's all. Then Brad's new family came by his side. They spoke in a tongue Brad's first family couldn't catch. The lady put her hand on Brad, making Vicky turn red with envy. The young boy tried his best in English, saying, "We happy." Thanks for Brad. Love him lots. So happy. Good man, good man. At first, Vicky, Mark, and Jen were lost, but soon it hit them. Brad had found his new kin. The woman had been eyeing Brad's first family, her gaze sharp. She whispered something to her kids, and they scampered off. She then said something to Brad, and he just nodded, turning to Vicky, Mark, and Jen. She tried her best English. I'm Tam Thong Prier, my English not there yet. He's pushing me to learn, tough, but I'm blessed. He's in my life. He saved me and my little ones twice. He took us in, so kind, so full of love. We're lucky. I know what you did to him, shame on you. Lies, cheating, he doesn't need that. Shame on you. He's been mad hurt, all because of you. Hurts me to see that. I just want his pain to leave, for him to be happy always. I've told him I'd be his woman for real, for life. I love him and my kids here, ready to give him all. Even said I'd have his kids. He said no, he's married. He's not the kind to lie or cheat. She talked in simple words, but with deep feeling, telling a tale of finding love, kindness, and a new start away from hurt and betrayal. Long ago, he tells me this, over a year now. Soon too. Can't wait more. You say goodbye. She looks at Vicky. He's mine now. I love him lots. Got 2 kids who love him too. They're his now. My love for him is big, always true to him. He's the best man. You are not true to him, not true to the kids. I'm taking him. He's my love for life. I'll always love him, never cheat or be bad. That's all I'm saying. Brad shakes his head as Tam Thong walks away. Jen is crying. Dad, what did I say? Jennifer, I love you, Dad. Not enough, Jennifer. Not enough to fight for me, not even to think about it, but Jen keeps on. That's not right, Dad. Don't you have any love for us, even a bit? Brad frowns. Love is strange, Jennifer, real love I mean. You can't just turn it off, but it can change its look, smell, feel, meaning. Your mom should tell you about meaning if she hasn't. She changes what love means to fit how she feels. Vicky is shocked by the harsh words. Brad stops. Vicky, your love for me lost its meaning long ago. It changed 4 months before you told me I didn't matter. It meant nothing the last day we were together when you didn't say you loved me. It meant nothing when you kept seeing him after I knew. It changed for you kids too when you took your mom's side. That told me I was nothing to you. It completely changed for me when you supported her lover over me. No point talking more. I wasn't what you all wanted. I wasn't enough for any of you. 20 years of love for me meant nothing. Great, I've moved on. Let's stop there. But that's not right, Dad, Mark said, his voice rising. I won't talk about this, Mark, not with you, Vicky, or Jennifer. Sometimes you only get one shot to do the right thing. You all had your shot and blew it. Live with it. I can live with my choice. I never said you weren't important, Brad, never. Yes, you did, Vicky. You see, you all have a big problem. You hear things how you want. You didn't care how I take it. What I think is all that matters to me, not what you think. What you thought was wrong from the start, and Mark, saying your mom's mistake wasn't a big deal, still think that? Mark shook his head, looking down. No, that was dumb, the dumbest thing I've ever said, and I've said a lot of dumb stuff, Dad. Brad didn't react to Mark using Dad again. Guess that Camelot thing was your dumbest, but who cares? Dumb is as dumb does, right, Dad? We messed up big time. I can't say sorry enough for what we did or how bad I feel. We hurt you bad, you didn't deserve any of it. Can't you forgive our dumb mistakes? Give us a chance to make things right, please, Dad, give us a chance. Jennifer chimed in, we love you, Dad, always have, we still do, and nothing you say will change that. Like Mom and Mark said, we royally messed up. We hurt you in ways I can't even say. I won't deny my part in it, but I am so sorry I wasn't smart enough to say no when Mom suggested it. I knew it was wrong, but I did it anyway. I just want to be your kid again. That's it, nothing more. Just let us be a family again. What we did was bad, sure, but was it bad forever? Can't you forgive us, even a bit? No, Jennifer, it's not going to happen. Did any of you tell Nathan to leave my house? No, you didn't. You liked him there. You made him happy there. You both had fun while he was there with my wife in my bed. So, no, Brad, Vicky, let's stop the lies, okay? I heard about you and your friend parting ways. What? How? You did that to him, didn't you, Brad? Brad's laugh was mean. I heard someone took care of Nathan Trumbull. I heard he was close to dying on the surgery table, not once, but twice. For many, your family, my family, Sarah, none seemed sad for him. He was a good guy, Brad. He was never a good guy, Vicky. Good guys don't ruin families. You think I didn't know about your secret friend? I knew way before your trip with him. Did you know you weren't his only one? Did you? You likely thought you were special to him, am I right? Anyway, I guess some angry husband didn't like Nathan's actions. His being hurt so bad was expected someday, I think. Now Nathan has to live with those scars, and he can't act proud of his man parts anymore. There's some rightness in that, don't you think, Brad? How could you, Dad? You did that to him. Mark was shocked. Brad looked at Mark before he spoke. Why are you upset? Scared of a husband getting back at a man who ruined his life, Dad? I don't think what Mom did was right, but Nathan, I've met him, he's kind. Brad laughed and then said to Jennifer, you think the same, sis. He is kind, Dad, right? You two are losers. Don't call me Dad anymore. I'm not your dad if you're okay with that guy in our house, happy to be around him. Just leave me alone, go to Nathan, have a big hug or something. Brad's voice dripped with disdain. Vicky jumped in, Nathan could get you locked up for what you did, Brad. First, Vicky, you think I did something? I never said I did. Nathan, sure, it was me he got the cops after. Did he tell you? Did you stand up for me? Any of you? No? Thought so. Some U.S. Marshals found me last week. They were far from home, but they left, nothing happened. They even got drunk on the local drink here. It's strong. I wasn't even in the U.S. when Nathan got hurt, so I'm clear. But hearing how Nathan can't prove it was me, that must hurt. Heard the docs put in fake parts for him, like the ones kids find at Easter. True, maybe not, but Nathan pointing at me sure didn't make him look good to the feds, right? Someone must have spent a lot to find me way out here. Looks like Uncle Sam will need to ask for more taxes to get that cash back. Anyway, forget that nasty piece of work. He got what was coming to him, whoever did it. And who knows, maybe there's more bad stuff waiting for him. You can never be too sure. Right? Now, for the last time, let's make this quick and finish this silly chat. I know you three have been tight on money. I know that Mark and Jennifer had to quit school when I stopped helping out, and you, Vicky, haven't paid for their school since they missed a term waiting for school loans. Too bad for them, and shame on you, Vicky. You could splash out on a fancy car for your boyfriend, but not help your own kids with school? Making over $300,000 a year, and you do that? That's just sad, Vicky. You're not doing a good job as a mom, being so selfish. How's that car you got for what's-his-face anyway? I heard it's a wreck now. Bet the money on that car could have covered a few classes for your kids. What a letdown you are, Vicky. What a greedy person you turned into. Also, I know you three have been after the money I left with, and you've been trying to sue Mom and Dad for the cash from selling the business. That's really why my lawyer wanted me to talk to you. Ha! He's sick of the bother he's getting from your lawyers. Brad laughed, but this time it felt light. You've got to laugh at how messed up things are in court these days. Lawyers moaning about other lawyers bothering them. What a mess the United States has turned into. Okay, here it is, plain and simple. Listen well. You'll never get your hands on the money I took. Even if I dropped dead right this second, you wouldn't see a penny of it. It'll just vanish. Gone forever. Think like this, I pass away, and every bank account in the world gets a 2-cent drop, every single one, for both people and businesses. Can someone do that math? The money my folks got from selling their business is gone too. That deal was in a place that doesn't talk to the U.S., so that cash is way out of reach. Besides, that was their company, their cash, not mine. You can't touch it. Geez, talk about being all grabby for money. I know you tried to get Bert and Irene to help you with cash, Vicky, and they said no. How do I know that? Trip they and Sarah went on to Fiji 2 months back. We met them there, me, Tam, Thong, and the kids. We had a blast. It was cool to see your family get along with Tam, Thong, and the kids so well, Vicky. I don't really mind if Bird or Irene give you money, but they're still pretty upset with you three. You shouldn't have let Nathan move into my house, Vicky. That was really dumb. Mark and Jennifer shouldn't have been so open about liking Nathan either. You all acted like Nathan was part of the family. He wasn't, isn't, and never will be. If I got Irene and Bert right, your family hoped I'd come back and forgive you three sorry fools. Vicky, Bert, Irene, and Sarah really hoped for that. They thought we could fix what was broken, but once Nathan stuck around, they knew it was a no-go. They told me that in Fiji. So yeah, they're pretty mad at each of you, and rightly so. Sarah told Irene and Bert about how you, Vicky, pushed her to say yes to a plan. You wanted her to go away with me for 2 weeks to a sunny, sandy place as a way to fix what you did wrong. You called it making things even or something like that. I told her thanks, but no thanks. We both knew it wouldn't happen. I'm not made that way, and neither is Sarah. It's sad you think so little of your sister. If only you were half as good as her, we might still be together. She also said you both knew about your mom's idea for Sarah to try and win me over, and you were okay with it. The three of you make me sick, just trash. That's all you are to me. But let's say that's all in the past, right? So you three, all your talk of love and missing me, isn't about me at all. You were all fine with Nathan until he got hurt, couldn't work, and money got tight. Nathan can't make Vicky happy in bed anymore, which must ruin your fun of having him take my place. And you too, you just lost your easy ride through life. This is what you're really after with this call. You don't want me back, you just want my money. That's my money too, Brad. Vicky yelled, "No, it's not. You. It's all mine, and it stays mine. You thought you had it all figured out, that you were in control. I told you back then you were not thinking deep enough. Too proud, Vicky. You took a risk and lost. I owe you nothing, not any of you. You made your bed, now lie in it. I have a couple more things for you three. Ed, my lawyer, will give you the divorce papers this week. It's just a formality, really. You get the house from the divorce, but that's it. I would never go back there anyway. Like you, it's ruined forever. Marked, sign the divorce papers, and once it's all done, I'll give you my part of the house. You can keep it or sell it, it doesn't matter to me. You might get a lot of money if you sell now, but if you don't want to sign, that's fine too. I can still have a great life with Tam Thong and the kids without being divorced from you. Being apart is easy in this place. No need to blame anyone. I just don't want us to be together anymore, that's all. I'll say to the court, so sign or don't, it's happening either way. Oh, and I'm about to officially become the dad of the two kids you see playing out back. You don't get a say in it, only Tam Thong does, and she's all in. The paperwork will be done soon. I had to pay a little extra to get it fast-tracked, but it wasn't much. About Tam Thong, things changed today. I might not love her like I loved you, Vicky, but that love I gave you was a dead end. I do care for Tam Thong a lot, and I respect her. Our love will grow, especially when we have our own kids. That'll happen soon. I'll let Irene, Bert, and Sarah know if they want, they can tell you. Last thing, we won't be here much longer. This place we're in is just for now. Tam Thong's got no ties here, so moving's easy. We're not sure where yet, but Fiji sounds nice. I can buy a house, and it seems like a perfect spot for us. Maybe we'll head to the Maldives next, it's pretty there too. I might buy homes in a few places, it doesn't really matter where we stay. My parents will follow once we pick a spot, they sure love the little ones, and they think the world of Tam Thong for sticking by me. Bert, Irene, and Sarah are always welcome too. I bet they love the kids as well, they did spend lots of time with them in Fiji, but not you three. You're not welcome wherever we end up. Brad went quiet for a bit, then let out a sigh. Vicky, I loved you more than you could imagine. I treasured every second with you for over 20 years. That was until you hurt me the way you did. Same goes for Mark and Jennifer. My love for you was boundless, and my pride immense until I saw your true colors. You showed me I didn't matter much to you, and that's not okay by me. So now, I just don't care about you three. You chose barely can stand up straight, can't even get it up Nathan over me, and I chose three others over you. Clearly, I won this trade, that's all there is to it. We're done now, forever. I'd say all the best, but honestly, I don't care what happens to you. Brad ended the call before they could say a word. He leaned back, feeling good about his life for the first time in years. Back in the States, Vicky, Jen, and Mark were in shock, staring at the screen. Mark broke the silence. Who was that? That wasn't Dad, Jennifer, tears running down her face, managed to say, yes, it was. We made him that way. Vicky couldn't find any words to speak. She shook so much she thought she'd break. How could Brad be so mean? It was just a quick thing, nothing big. Nathan moving in was a must. If Brad had just come back, none of this would have happened. Nathan was only there to help pay bills. And so what if they had some sex? It was just sex. If Brad was here, none of this mess would be here, and poor Nathan wouldn't have got hurt. Vicky was sure Brad had something to do with Nathan getting hurt somehow. He struck back somehow. Where do you think Dad is? In Asia for sure. Those folks with him looked Asian, right? Mark asked. Did they look Asian to you? Yep, he's in Asia. I've seen that lady's skirt before, Jennifer said. A sarong, I think. They wear those in Thailand. Where the heck is Thailand? Mark asked. Vicky hit him lightly on the head. Mind your words. Come on, Mom, I'm almost 21, he said. I said mind your words, Jennifer added. Jennifer looked up Thailand on the computer. Wow, it's big. Looks the size of Texas or maybe Alaska. Dad could be anywhere there. Doesn't matter. He said he's leaving. Where to? Mark asked. Fiji or the Maldives? What are the Maldives, and where's Fiji? Near Bermuda. Mark, don't you know any geography? No, I know Dallas. Is that not enough? You're silly. So Fiji's in the Pacific, not too far from Hawaii. A few hours by plane. The Maldives are south of India. Vicky couldn't move. She couldn't think. She just sat there, hugging herself. Her tears kept coming. Mark leaned back, sighing. This didn't go as we hoped. We thought he'd forgive us and come back. But he's so different now. Not the dad we knew, except with those kids. That bugs me. Why? Jenny asked. That's not fair, Mark. Those kids love him like we did, and he loves them back. Dad thinks we betrayed him, and we did, even if we didn't mean to. Nathan's nice, but he's not Dad. We can't be mad at Dad for feeling replaced. No way, Jen. That's not right. But it is, Mark. To him, we pushed him out. That's all he sees now. He's starting over without us. We made that happen. Vicky couldn't believe what Jenny said. It wasn't like that. And don't say it was, she snapped. Jenny looked at her mom. Yes, it was, Mom, she said, a sad expression on her face. You started this mess, Mark, and I helped, but you led. We never stood up for Dad. We ignored how he felt when Nathan stepped in. We let him. We should have been there for him, but weren't. So, Mom, will you sign the divorce papers? I don't want to. Do you have a choice? Jenny pushed. No, Vicky said. I can't keep things this way. And did you get Nathan a car? Isn't he rich? Vicky just shrugged. I really don't know, Mark. He was so kind to us, helping us when times were hard, and I knew he liked that type of car. I just wanted to say thanks. I don't think others see it like that, Mom. It doesn't matter, though. Is the car wrecked? Vicky nodded. Pity. It was a nice car. That lady, Tam Thong, she's really pretty, Vicky frowned, and Mark just shook his head. She is, Jennifer said firmly, and she really loves Dad. You could see it. I don't like it much, but I'm happy Dad's found some joy. I bet she'd do anything for Dad. That's Mom. He's not coming back. That's on us. I'm okay with him being happy there, Jennifer said, getting mad. How can you say that? Vicky was shocked. I think it's no different than you finding someone else, Mom. Jennifer fired back. You moved on first. Now he has two, she said, getting mad. Not cool, Jen. Screw off, Mark. You're just as bad. And so is Mom. And so am I. You just care about Nathan's smashed car. Mom's just into someone else and taking Dad's money. And me, I just didn't want to be caught in the middle. None of us deserve Dad, none. Vicky was steaming mad. If that's what you think, she hissed. It is. I want my dad back. You're blaming Dad for everything, but he did nothing wrong. You did. Mark did. I did. We're all to blame. So, leave me alone. Hey, Jen, take it easy, okay? At least he didn't call me a mama's boy. What a jerk. Just because I don't agree. Now I don't care if he comes back or not, Mark said, annoyed. Mark was also a bit mad that his mom didn't scold Jennifer for her words. Then again, maybe it was because his mom was just shocked by Jennifer's outburst. Who knows? Nothing felt right anymore, and that just stumped Tam Thong. Moved away from Brad as he kept talking on the video call to his old family, she sat in the shade, arms on her knees, hands together, watching him. She thought he'd be mad or tense, but no, he looked chill and happy, even laughing with the kids. This made her smile. The kids were doing great here with Brad. They got healthy from good food and felt safe. He dressed them nice and made sure they knew their ABCs and 123s, just like he said he would. To her surprise, the kids loved learning. Their English wasn't perfect, and hers was rough, but Brad made them speak only English for half the day. It was funny, but it was working. The rest of the day, they spoke Thai, and Brad was getting better at it. He still looked up words a lot, but he was learning. She meant it when she told his wife that Brad was the best man ever. That's how she saw him always. It made her offer herself to him as a tlok, which he said is tilak. They had some mix-ups over what tilak meant, so she had a priest explain to Brad. There are lots of words for the same thing in Thailand, but for Brad, tlok meant an extra wife. Tam Thong didn't know the word polyandry, she had never heard it, but it's pretty much what tlok was in Thai ways. A man or a woman could have one legal wife or husband and then more tilak or extra spouses if they could take care of them. The first wife or husband had to be okay with new ones joining, but that wasn't often a big issue. They often picked the person being brought in. This old custom was not so common but was still seen mostly in countryside areas than in cities. Tam Thong thought, yet it happened in cities too. In Korat, she knew 4 families that did this. Brad found it hard to get what Tam Thong wanted even with the priest trying to help. He thought tlok meant mistress and not wife. He saw having a mistress as him being untrue to his wife, who was not faithful. He did not want to betray this puzzled Tam Thong. She felt Brad's wife had no say in his life now since his wife was the one who strayed. Her views on Brad getting a tayak did not matter or should not matter. Tam Thong could not grasp why Brad would see himself as betraying. The priest did his best to clear it up for them, but really, he just made it more confusing. Tam Thong did not push Brad, though she felt upset at not knowing enough words. She was sure the priest mixed his faith in while explaining. She did not want that. But the man was a Christian priest, it was likely he'd include his faith. She knew she could make it clear if she only had the right words. Brad tried looking up words in his Thai to English dictionary, but it did not help much. One thing was clear to her, though, Brad. Saying no was not because he looked down on her. Every time he was with Tam Thong, he was always kind and friendly. That would not be the case if he saw her as lower. He might have, but he never acted like it. No, what held him back were the promises he made to his unfaithful wife when they got married. Brad, more than anything, was a man of deep loyalty and dedication. He didn't really like sticking to one person, and that's why he had a hard time saying yes to her at first. But she got used to his way of thinking and respected his wish to keep his word. Still, every few months, she would ask him again, hoping he might change his mind. After living in Thailand for a while, Brad had been feeling stuck for many weeks. He had something big on his mind, but found it hard to talk about. Tam Thong just waited for him, not sure what he was thinking, but guessing it had to do with her and the kids. She was scared he might be planning to leave them. She always thought that could happen, so when he finally talked to her, she was shocked to hear he was going to leave his wife in America. He asked if Tam Thong wanted to be his real wife after his divorce and if she would let him adopt her 2 children. She was shocked, and Brad looked very worried she might say no. Tam Thong called the priest over to make sure she got it right before she answered. She did get it right, and she said yes to both. She didn't want to wait on the adoption, and neither did Brad. Now, with the video call done, she was going to be Brad's partner. 10 months later, Brad's and Tam Thong's family were living happily in a big house in Fiji, near the city of Sua, on the big island of Viti. The place they got used to be a small beach resort that ran out of money. Brad got it for very little and moved everyone in. It had lots of room with 6 extra bedrooms still free. Sarah couldn't come this time, but the happy news was that she had found her perfect match and was on her honeymoon in Hawaii. Everyone was hoping to take a short trip to Fiji for a few days to see the whole family, if they could manage to get up and going, that is. Brad's parents had moved to Fiji 6 months back and were living in the same place as Brad and his new family. They had their own small house nearby for a long time, but joined Brad and Tam Thong for meals and hangouts in the main living space. Their meals were a big family thing every day. They could stay in Fiji for 6 months with their U.S. passports, but staying longer was easy with just a simple request. Bert and Irene were visiting and thinking about getting their own place on the island for when they retire. They also thought about just living like Aaron and Grace, staying in the suite they were in now. Plus, staying there didn't cost them much. Everyone just put money into a pot for groceries when needed. They all got along great. Bert and Irene really liked Tam Thong. Keek and Abzera were super proud to have Brad as their dad, but they still remembered their birth dad and their prayers. Brad didn't want to talk about it when Tam Thong brought it up once, and Tam Thong was 8 months pregnant and married to Brad. All 4 grandparents were excited for the new baby. Tam Thong didn't say if it was a boy or girl, so the grandparents were guessing. Brad just hoped the baby would be healthy. To Mom, I genuinely mean it. I cherish you. I will always do. But because of the way you've changed, I can no longer be close to you. You're not the mother I loved and respected as a child. Since you decided to betray your marriage vow and break Dad's heart, I don't think you've been that person. Naturally, you are blind to your own transformation. You believe that the generous, kind, and honest woman you have always been remains. You're not. You've become even more conceited and cruel since you realized your father never really left you. You find nothing wrong with Nathan's situation. You won't admit it or believe that your relationship with Nathan caused our family to fall apart. You see yourself as the one injured, not your father. You put all the blame on him, but Dad isn't at all to blame. The fact is that you began to destroy your marriage and our family by having an affair with Nathan, first in your heart and later on in reality. You got upset when your father didn't approve of your affair because you had assumed he would. You claim that he's just being moody, but you're utterly incorrect. Dad has never been irritable, he never gets that way. He observes reality as it is. He saw my betrayal marks and yours, and decided there was no point in sticking around. We severed his connections with us, so he left and had no intention of returning. I hold him not responsible. How was I able to? I had a hand in forcing him out. The issue is that you refused to take a step back and consider the root of this mess. You were the one. Only you. You believed at one point that you could do whatever you wanted, regardless of who got hurt, for reasons you've never fully disclosed to either Mark or me. You believed that you could justify your affair by having it all figured out. How did Dad put it? That your level of thought was lacking. He was accurate. You were taken by surprise when he outwitted you, and you were probably ashamed and embarrassed that your father was actually smarter than you. You ought to have waited and broken up with Nathan at that point. Waited to discuss and work out issues with Dad. We are all aware that what you did was incorrect. You made a terrible situation worse by allowing Nathan to move in because you were upset that things didn't go your way. This reminds me a lot of overindulging in oneself. Was Dad really the one who footed the bill? You were of no assistance. That helps explain why he was angry at times, doesn't it? By being with someone else, you first wounded him and made him feel insignificant. Then, you compounded the hurt by letting your new partner live in a home that Dad paid for. How failed to recognize the wrong that did to him? I say you, because it was your idea, and you made it happen, and it got more messed up, but I played a part in this too, just like Mark did. We were really unwise to back you up, and Mark still does. I still can't wrap my head around why I went along with your idea. I don't get why it's always been so easy for you to sway me and Mark. Maybe one day I'll understand, or maybe not. Right now, it doesn't matter. I played a part in what happened to Dad. I will be sorry for that for the rest of my life, and more so because I made Nathan feel at home in that house. Nathan, I hope I never meet anyone as sly as him again. True, he's got charm that makes you like him. Yes, Nathan was always good to Mark and me, but in truth, he was just like you, a user, a trickster just like you. He only cared about what he wanted, that's all that mattered to him. He didn't care one bit about how he hurt our family. Nathan never said sorry in a way I'd hear it, so I guess he just never did. He got you, which is what he wanted. Wow, he even got a free car out of you. That was a whole new level of foolishness on your part, Mom, and you even boasted about it. Of course, Nathan didn't keep quiet on how he got the car either. It seems you gave him a surprise gift, but did he trick you into it, making you think it was your idea? Dad knew he was seeing other girls beside you. I've thought a lot about that. The only way Dad could have known is if Grandpa Bert told him, probably because Nathan was showing off at work. It makes sense, right? So, your new guy Nathan wasn't so great after all. Just like you, he's just another cheater, a sneaky one just like you. Mom, I tried to talk about all this with Mark, but he didn't care. Mark only thinks about himself. Can you believe he's still upset with Dad for calling him a mama's boy? Mark really needs to grow up, but I'm afraid he won't. He, like you, ignored me, so who could I talk to sort things out? Grandma Irene, of course. She doesn't play games. She sees things how they are and brings the truth out into the open. Let me tell you, she didn't go easy on me, she didn't let me make any excuses. I love her for it. Talk about respect and someone to look up to, that's Grandma Irene for me. I respect and admire her, and I always will. So, you're probably wondering what all this means. Simply put, I have left home, home as in you and Mark. I don't have or want a place there with you guys anymore. And you're probably asking why I'm saying this in a letter instead of to your face. There are 2 reasons. 1, you don't listen, you refuse to hear anything that doesn't fit with what you think. I'm tired of being ignored while you blame Dad for what you've done. No more. I know I can't face you and say no to what you want. It's hard for me to stand up to you, I admit it. So, I chose the easy way out by leaving you this note. You might have guessed already, but I've left you and Mark to find Dad. I don't know exactly where he is, but as you're reading this, I'm on a plane going to find him. He doesn't know I'm coming. I hope he lets me ask for his forgiveness. I'm ready to do that in front of everyone if that's what it takes. I so want my dad back, I'll do anything, even though I'm scared he might turn me away. You're probably wondering how I managed to afford this trip. Think about it. Grandpa Bert and Grandma Irene, they've given me what I need to go to Dad. They're with him right now, and they've said they'll do their best to make Dad see how much I want to be with him again, not just for a little while, but forever. Gram will be tough to convince, but I'm ready to accept any punishment she thinks I deserve. Dad might still say no to forgiving me. If that happens, I'll find a job and live as close to him as possible. That's my plan for now, but I won't return to you and Mark. I'm closing that door. Only you and Mark can open it again if you want me back. It's up to you to make it happen. I won't help. There's something else I really want. I hope to meet my new brother and sister. I hope Dad and their mom, Tam, thaw let me. Mom, I want to get to know her too. No, ask yourself a few questions. Try to be honest with yourself. Is our family where you imagined it would be when you started all of this? Did you see our family falling apart like this when you sneaked around? Did it ever cross your mind that this could end us? Do you have any idea how to fix what's left of your marriage, our family, and your life? Now that you've lost Dad permanently, and Nathan seems to mean little to you, maybe just over coffee dates, but not even that, what will you do? I wasn't lying when I said I love you at the beginning of this letter, I really do. I'll miss you so much, but not the mom that seems gone. Can she return? I've said everything I need to say, Mom. I love you, Mom, but I don't like you, Jennifer. Enjoying some alone time on the deck by the water with his scotch, Brad thought back to what Irene had shared in private just 3 days earlier. Nathan had undoubtedly been treated harshly, so Brad had no part in it. He found out later and didn't judge. Still, it made him shake his head, even smile, but only when he was alone. Irene, Bert, Grace, and Aaron all pitched in, hired someone, and Nathan got what they thought he deserved. Brad laughed, thinking his mother would have preferred a belt used on the guy, or maybe Grace had a say in the hurt inflicted upon Nathan. Brad would never know for sure, but one thing he knew, Nathan wouldn't break another family, which was why they pursued him. Tam Thong, I'm Jennifer, the woman said as she opened the door, her beauty surpassing Jen's memory and her impending pregnancy. Jen, terrified beyond measure, I knocked on the door, carrying everything I owned, standing at the door of the man I had badly hurt, hoping he could ever forgive me. You might not know me now, but I know you, Tam Thong said, her expression emotionless. They were silent for a while before Jen, who was taken aback and unsure of whether she had come to the right place, blurted out, is Brad here? Tam Thong gave Jen a look, then let her in. You wait. Put bags here. Jen watched Tam Thong go. She looked around the place. It felt like a real home, not messy, just warm. She heard kids laughing from the back, and Brad's voice too. It made her think of old times with her brother Mark and Brad. The kids' fun sound stopped when Tam Thong spoke. Soon Brad came. Jen dropped to her knees, seeing him. He looked so good, maybe she hadn't really seen him before, or maybe Tam Thong and her kids made him happy. Jen just cried, trying to see him well. Jen. Oh, this is unexpected, Brad said as he approached. Dad. Jen lost it and hugged him tight, putting all her love in it. When she let go, she saw her dad hadn't hugged back the same way. I'm sorry, I know. Jen tried, let unwalk. Brad cut her short. He wasn't mean or mad, just blank. No feeling showed. Jen gave a small nod. Her first wave of feelings was fading, and she knew a hug wasn't enough. Brad had almost shut her out on their Skype call, but he hadn't pushed her away now, and they were going to walk. Maybe there was hope, she thought. They walked without talking for a bit. Jen watched Brad look around. Was he liking this new life more? Was he trying to enjoy it, or was he just putting off the part where he'd send her off? Jen chose to speak first. She's pretty, Dad. Who? Tam Thong? Yes, she is, he said, returning from his reverie. She really is. In many ways. It makes me happy that you both met, or that you got to meet her. Thank you, Brad said, pausing for a moment before turning to face Jen and asking, is that why you came all this way? No, I'm at a loss for words. You've come this far and still have nothing to say? There's no book on how to fix a mess like this. Watch your words. Sorry, Dad, but I'm nervous, scared, happy, terrified. Jen laughed, but it sounded forced. Dad, I'm losing it, so I apologize if I swear again. Jen inhaled deeply. I left Mom and Mark. You? What about him? Him too, I guess. I didn't really see him as part of my life to leave. I didn't spend much time with him, Dad. Truth is, I kept away from him and Mom. I even got a job at school to stay away. I talked to Grandma Irene a lot about them, and she helped me see things clearly, Dad. I'm so upset with how I acted. I can't. I just can't. How do I fix things with you? How can I make you forgive me? You're the most important, not Mom, not Mark, and not him. I left it all just to find you. Why? I thought it was clear the last time we spoke. You did, Dad, but I wasn't clear for a long while. I love you, Dad. I know after all that happened, it might seem hard to believe, but it's true. It took me too long to see how much I care about you and what Mom really did to you. By the time I saw the truth, I thought it was all over. What truth did you find out? I found out what I messed up. What do you mean, what you messed up? Look, after you were gone, I realized something. I realized that fun things didn't make me happy for long. I would get mad or sad easily. Sure, I could laugh at a joke, but the happy feeling was always short. It wasn't like when we were a family. That's when I got it, family, Dad. When I really saw that we tore our family apart just so Mom could have fun. It broke something inside me, something you taught me, always to love our family. I was part of what ruined our family when Mom convinced me. At first, she made me think that making her happy would make us all happy. Deep down, I knew it was wrong, but every time I tried to speak up, she made me think she was right, saying it wouldn't hurt us. Then, when everything fell apart, I had a moment of truth. I saw why I was so unhappy because I messed up. I hurt you, and it split our family. Brad whispered, Jennifer, it definitely wasn't just you. I should not have had a part in it, even though I know it wasn't just me. I believed Mom's falsehoods. My dad and my family suffered as a result of my disregard for my conscience. You still have Mark and your mother. No, Dad, not at this time. Mom, I said, we're done. It's up to them if she wants Mark or me back. They have no idea what a family is. Till they get there, I can't be with them. Mom's lost, she's always wondering why people don't like the things she does, and Mark. I suppose he wasn't exposed to brain oxygen when we were younger. The only explanation for why he doesn't seem as upset as I do. But Dad, forget about them. I am not going back to them, even if you are not going to forgive me. I've come here to ask for your pardon. I sincerely hope we can work things out so you can once more be my dad. But I'm not going back, under any circumstances. Jennifer, what do you think will happen? If I forbid you from staying, where will you go? Well, Dad, I finished school. After receiving my degree, I applied for a position teaching math and English in Fiji. Next week, I have an interview. If you're still upset, I figured I'd find a place close by and take the time necessary to patch things up. Dad, I'm not going to abandon you. Never. Brad gave Jen a brief glance before asking, is that correct? Are you serious about this? I do, Dad, I swear. Come on, where are you going? Are you throwing me out? No, I'm not. You haven't yet met your brother and sister, Keith and Abzera. With tears in her eyes, Jennifer gasped. My. Yes, you will have to acquire knowledge. If you don't, those kids won't be easy on you, Brad grinned and said, welcome back, Jen. Just don't screw this up like you did previously. No, Dad, I won't. Never again, Jen declared. Jen turned to see Tam Thong grinning broadly, and she hugged her, saying, he waits so long for you. Tam Thong was obviously happy that her husband had apologized to his oldest daughter and brought her back into the family. You're doing well now, he's very happy, ha. Bert exclaimed, I finally won one, as he and Irene watched Brad, with his arms wrapped around Jen and Tam Thong, make their way home. Irene patted him and said, yes, dear, before smiling and walking away, leaving Bert to watch by himself. Aaron, did you hear that? I triumphed. As Bert turned to look for Aaron, he noticed Grace walking up. Grace, can you guess who gave Jen the address? Grace asked, grinning broadly. We all adore you, Bert, but you always seem to be running a little behind Irene. Irene was the one who brought Jennifer here, Grace remarked, evoking laughter from Bert as she prepared to greet her granddaughter and welcome her home. 5 years later, Vicky rubbed her eyes, exhausted. Nathan was complaining that it was too early and trying to sleep a little longer before the alarm went off again. Vicky grinned at the ridiculousness of it all, remembering the days when Jen and Mark were little and refused to get out of bed for school. Thinking of Jen, she realized that it had been nearly 5 years since their last conversation. Jen was now with her father. Everything was well between them. Jennifer would stay with her father and his family. Now, she loved her stepbrothers and sisters, and they loved her. Vicky allowed herself to feel a little sad about losing Jen, then she got on with her day. Vicky heard Nathan's alarm go off again. Nathan's habit of hitting the snooze button indicated that something was wrong. He wasn't a morning person, she asked. My back, it hurts, he said with a groan. I'll get your pills, she said, moving to the medicine cabinet. She looked at the bottles, moving aside the ones she didn't need until she found the right pills. Only 2 left. She'd have to go out and get more. Nathan took the pill with some tap water. Thanks, he said. Vicky didn't like it when he called her babe. 5 years and it still didn't sound right. It should be Brad who calls her that. She and Nathan hadn't been close at all, not in 5 years, and he never tried to make her happy in other ways, not once. How could he call her babe? You're welcome. Only 1 pill remains. I'll pick up more during lunch. How will you fare until then? Yeah, I'll be okay, she inquired. I'm going to stay in today. If it gets too bad, give me a call. Thank you, I'll take care of it, she said to him. You have to move quickly now to avoid being late for work. All right. Still something she only said to Brad. I love you, she said, making sure to say it. He's staying home again, Vicky thought. His job was on the line already after he lost his first job because of a fight. He changed. There wasn't much left of the old Nathan. He still had money, but he didn't like to use it, so Vicky paid for everything. Nathan was now working part-time at Sam's Club, but he kept missing work. Vicky didn't think he'd keep the job for much longer, but she wouldn't say anything. Marrying Nathan was Vicky's own choice of paying back for the hurt she caused Brad and her family. She saw it as her due pain. No love was found in this marriage, only a sense of duty to suffer. Vicky kept to her path without a word of protest. Her sister Sarah kind of made peace with her, but Sarah kept her distance, not wanting anything to do with Nathan. She would ring Vicky a few times every year, always during the festive times. God, how Vicky missed her sister. Sarah was still close with their folks and Brad's bunch too. He now had a big happy family of 6 with his new partner. Sarah would sneak Vicky photos, making her swear to keep it a secret. The photos of Jennifer looking happy and well were like a sweet sting to Vicky. She never let Nathan see them, they were her burden to bear. Vicky sometimes thought about Nathan's health when wondering if she'd find him gone one morning. Would she grieve? Maybe a little. But she knew what she'd do next: sell the house, get rid of everything, and then try to find Jennifer to ask for her forgiveness. Vicky ached for her daughter and her parents. She had tried finding Fiji on online maps, following Sarah's hints, hoping to catch a glimpse of where her family was. She thought she found their spot, their hideout on the Big Island, from a Skype pic. It looked real pretty. If true, maybe if Nathan would just go away forever, she might visit it. To Fiji, she would beg Jen and her folks on her knees. Maybe it could happen. Vicky's lunchtime arrived quickly, so she strolled to the nearby drugstore. While waiting in line, she considered how much money Nathan's prescription drugs cost and felt grateful for her health insurance. Vicky had considered quitting her job, but that idea quickly faded as Nathan's medical expenses mounted. Her job was fulfilling, but it lacked joy. It took some professional conversation to realize that her job felt good when she could return home to her family and that, after all, it would be nicer. Brad would listen to her highs and lows. Mark and Jen were there to comfort her on good days and cry with her on bad days. Now it was just Nathan back home, and he didn't want to hear about her day. Even when sober or off his pain medication, the man asked. Yes, Vicky replied, sharing Nathan's details. Pain pills and 3 more medications were set. Vicky sighed as she paid. Man, Nathan was in a bad way. She thought that after leaving the care facility, it was one thing, then another. A bit of bone was floating and had to go. He started not hearing well in one ear. The medications gave him kidney stone pains. Other stuff too over the years, but now it was his back hurting badly from spine trouble. Rather than tempting fate by asking what else could harm them, fate had other ideas. Vicky had seen her son Mark walking down the other side of the street, holding hands with a woman who wasn't his wife. Mark's marriage to Chloe 4 years prior had been a rare blessing after Vicky messed up her own life. So why was Mark doing this? She hurried across the street, following Mark. He stopped in front of a flat and was all smiles, talking to a lady. Vicky had gone too far to stop him. Mark leaned in and kissed her, not just a peck, but a full-on kiss that left no room for guessing. Mark's happiness turned to shock upon seeing his mother. He turned to her, letting go of her hand, and staggered back, her slapping him on his cheek. Anything at all you can learn from all my errors. You have to take action and try to save your marriage, or else you will experience the agony of losing the most significant aspect of your life. It took her years and a lot of help to see where she went wrong, but right now, she wished she had made Mark get that help too. Her son was just as shallow and self-centered as Mom. So son, Vicky said, I know I messed up, got the papers to show it, and it's been bad every day since. Vicky left without waiting to speak with Mark. Greetings. If you think these materials are useful, please feel free to forward them to your friends and family. Moreover, as is customary, since YouTube favors videos with a high number of likes, if you appreciate this video, kindly click the like button to aid in the growth of our podcast. You might also think about subscribing to the channel in order to be notified by YouTube whenever I post new content. I appreciate your support and wish you a happy day.